Okay, we're gonna call the meeting to order. And first of all, we're gonna watch a video.
Well, you want to announce that stuff first?
No, we're good.
Okay.
Providing an incentive to stimulate development that would not otherwise occur is why Indiana has tax increment financing. TIF districts are formed by redevelopment commissions, hoping to generate private investment, thus improving in areas of employment, infrastructure, environment, and more. While many TIF districts concentrate on revitalization of existing structures, investment in greenfield or undeveloped properties also occurs. The area's assessed value at the time a TIF district is created is the base AV. This ensures that all taxes collected on the base AV continue to be passed to the overlapping taxing units inside the TIF district. The incremental AV, which is anything above the base, is multiplied by the district's tax rate to determine TIF revenue for the area. TIF revenues are spent on a wide array of critical projects, including bricks and mortar infrastructure projects, both above and below ground, as well as game-changing facade improvements. Clean, safe streets, and recreational amenities speak volumes about a community's viability. Therefore, TIF is used to provide enhancements that will draw talent and the businesses that follow. TIF is a powerful tool for Hoosier cities, towns, and counties. With this tool comes a significant amount of transparency and oversight. All formal actions occur during a combination of public meetings and public hearings. Online reports are generated and submitted to state agencies, overlapping units, and posted online for all to see. All redevelopment commissions are required to have a non-voting member from the appropriate school district. All redevelopment commissions are required to hold in-person meetings with all impacted taxing units. To sum it up, TIF is a vital, effective, transparent economic development tool for local governments, used to promote investment that would not otherwise occur. To learn more about how Indiana communities are using TIF as a quality of place driver, visit aimindiana.org/TIF.
As you can tell, this was a new requirement based on state statute for us to have a meeting with the overlapping taxing unit. So that's why the commissioners, the county council, city council, the library board was invited, and the school board was invited as well. We just need to start keeping everybody informed of what is happening in the TIF district, even though our TIF district is unusual and we don't make any changes. We don't have any excess levies or anything like that. And all the TIF money goes right to their bond payments. And my office only keeps a small fee every year just to pay for the online reporting that's required with having the TIF district. So, and basically, we don't have any money with that. So that's really all this meeting was for, is to keep everybody informed.
And to follow the law.
Yes. So, take motion to adjourn.
You made the motion to adjourn.
We got a question.
You got a question?
Yeah, I got a question.
Okay.
Rosemary, how do we, or can we, measure the success or failure of our TIF district here?
Well, ours is, you really can't measure it. I think Omba did a study for us last year, and it basically tells us all the taxing money that we've collected from them goes right about into another account to pay for their bond payments. The bond loan that they took out, I think 10 years ago, was it 10 years ago, or
That's when the utilities took their bond?
not? That doesn't do anything with utility bond. This is a Wayzata.
It was 5 years ago.
5 years ago, okay. So they pay taxes come back through us, and then I turn around and send it to US Bank, and they make a bond payment. And that's all So we don't really have any financial gain out of it. The community doesn't have any financial gain out of it because it was a special TIF set up that way. Most TIFs are set up that they'll pay, you know, say $1,000 on their property taxes. Once they changed all the windows and changed the facade, their taxes should have been $1,200. Well, then that $200 they save goes into a different fund because what was incremented by it being TIF is what the community would have had going into the TIF fund, just the 200 or 2,000.
Anything over and above the original base AV.
Right.
So is the Ways Auto bond the only bond that the TIF is holding?
Yes, and that is the only thing, and
Yeah.
even if they make all the improvements, I mean, even if they put 2 or 3 more lines in that building and has increased property values, we would still not benefit from that because all that money, all the taxes goes through to pay for their bond.
Okay. And what is the age of retirement of their bond?
15 more years.
15?
15 more years.
And we found out during the meetings we held regarding their extension of their purchase agreement on the land, or on the factory, that they were slightly ahead of the plan. I know whether the assessed value was slightly higher or what happened, but they're slightly, their repayment on the bond is slightly ahead of where they were supposed to be. Well, it means a lot, but
So they could have their bond paid off in 13 years instead of the 15
Exactly.
years.
yeah.
Does the requirements of their level of employment, and those matters in the original agreement, does that have, is that in any way associated with the bond?
Not with the bond and the TIF. That
that's
was the separate purchase
Purchase
agreement.
Separate agreement, okay.
And that was one that we had extended last year to go through.
For 27 months. We gave them a 27-month extension.
Okay, so does that mean, well, are they compliant? Or,
Are they now?
yes,
They're no closer than they were when we gave them 27
No.
months.
The one thing you gotta be compliant is
Which
when their
was-
time up is the 309.
That's true.
So until they get to the 300, and so they can get to 3, but it has to be what, 6 months before that?
Yep.
So they have to be at 309 before the end of that.
In March.
In 21 months.
And then whatever that is, there's a percentage that they pay a fine.
And they should be paying full price on stormwater fees now.
Yeah.
But what you just mentioned, that has nothing to do with the TIF.
Right.
No,
That,
Right.
that again just has to do with
Two
the
separate.
purchase price of the,
right.
Of the building and land, which has nothing to do with the TIF district and their bond payments.
sure. Well, I'm not suggesting anything, but to hear it explained again helps me answer questions that I get sometimes. So, you know, what you just told me is helpful to me. And
I've heard it said that this particular TIF example is a bad one because the city owned the Vistion Wayzata building at the time, and that if I'm not mistaken, it was assessed value was at 0.
Because it was given to us.
Exactly, because it was a gift, or
that's true.
and so it's like the worst formula or the worst example of a TIF where other communities bank TIF dollars. You know, a couple of mayors that have got huge TIF accounts that they use and bless their cities and do all sorts of miraculous things with TIF proceeds. We don't have that luxury.
But I think TIF areas now, you can only go for 25. Is it 25 years max now?
I don't know.
I think that's what it is.
Yeah, you might, I remember those days and when this was put together, and you might described as the perfect storm for failure as far as TIFs go.
Which makes everyone leery and kind of back away when you say, we have an economic development opportunity, and the only way we could possibly swing it would be through a TIF district. Newcastle uses them like putting on socks. They like TIF of the month up there in Henry County.
But it was needed for this county at that time.
Oh, sure, I understand
I mean,
that.
it worked, and it is working.
It is
It is not costing Fayette County or the city of Connersville any money to have that as a TIF district.
Yeah, you gotta be careful how you set it up too, because Greenwood was in the hole $5 million every year because they set their tips up wrong. So you gotta be careful how you set it. You gotta have people who know what they're doing setting them up.
Well, sure.
Greenwood, Johnson County was hurting bad.
It's situations like that, Chad, that, you know, it gives TIF
Well-
a bad name and
Well, I'm not saying anything bad against them, I'm just saying, look at what they did wrong, look at who's doing it right, and figure out, we don't wanna do it this way, but some of it's under control too.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, Little League in area, Indiana. I went up there, her name's Patty Heisel. She's the mayor up there. They only got a city of 5,000, think she's got 900,000 in her TIF area, TIF money. So, they're doing it right.
So our TIF basically with Vista on that, or Wayzata, that's the only TIF district we have. isn't it?
Yes.
That's correct.
Well, what I was going to point out, under the statute, before you adjourn, it says that this meeting must include the commission's budget with respect to allocated property tax proceeds, which would be zero, since we're not getting any. The long-term plans for the allocation area, I guess, would be just to continue paying off these bonds on behalf of Wayzata. Wayzata is really getting the benefit of this. And I think this was what you were referring to, Dan, other than the fact that it had a zero tax basis from the very beginning. The city's not benefiting from it directly, like in most districts, like was explained on that video. It's really going to the benefit of Wayzata. So, but in any event, so there are no really long-term plans other than the 15 years or so that are remaining on to continue paying off the bond. And the final issue that must be addressed at this meeting is the impact on each of the taxing districts who were invited here today to attend, and I suppose that would be zero.
There
is no impact.
No.
So
Okay.
I just want to make sure you covered all the
Thank you,
issues
David.
before
I
you
am
adjourn.
glad you're here. Adjourn.
That's what we're paying for, keep us out of trouble.
Appreciate the two of you guys that showed up tonight.
We can adjourn.
Well, we're gonna join the meeting. Anybody else got anything to say? That's it.
All right.